Hello and Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on The Real Dallas. I'm your host, Danielle Hawthorne, and today we have a new face. I'm so excited.
My name's DeAndre Upshaw, and we've got a great show for you all today.
That's right, we do. Today we are talking big films, both in theaters near you and streaming on Netflix.
We also got to sit down with some of the most #influential boss ladies in the Metroplex. That and so much more on this month's episode of The Real Dallas.
But first, we are going to rewind, revisit, and review a few films that hit theaters last month.
First up, we have the 1868 classic novel returning to the screen in its 7th adaptation.
Greta Gerwig's uniquely modern take gives us all the warm, homespun pleasures and emotions that we look for in Little Women, and is getting award season buzz already, garnering a few Golden Globe nominations.
Just last month, Danielle headed up to Massachusetts to sit down with the incredible cast of Greta Gerwig's rendition of Little Women. Let's take a look.
Thanks, DeAndre, for that intro. I am here in the original home of Louisa May Alcott, getting ready to talk to the cast of the upcoming movie Little Women. But first, I want to show you this desk right behind me because it is the desk, the actual desk where she wrote Little Women, which is such a cool, I mean, it's amazing just being in this room and knowing that such a big American classic was written right there. I could like almost reach out and touch it, but I'm not because I don't want to break anything and I don't want to get in trouble. Now I'm headed over to sit down with the cast of the upcoming movie, Little Women. Check it out. So I walked out of this movie and immediately picked up my phone, texted all my sisters. I was like, I just saw Little Women and I want you to know I love you so much. And I've read the book, I've seen this story before, but there was something about this one that just, it felt so different, and I felt like I wanted to just immediately grab my sisters and hold them. For those people who are going to say that, this is a story that's so well known, we've seen it before. Why is it that this feels different?
We wanted to go back to the text and Louisa May Alcott's writing and the source material as this thing that drove us into the 20th century and the 21st century, and it's both completely intimate and cozy and completely revolutionary and transformative as a text.
And I think what's quite fresh about this take on the story from Greta is that everybody is given their due. I think everybody is given time for the audience to really like get to know them properly and fully, and to really kind of understand them on a deeper level maybe than we have done before. Like, you're not just following one character the whole way through.
What is it that Greta's done through her writing and through your character development that has taken that and really created those powerful women that live in a time where, you know, there are limitations?
She's allowed them to each have their own individual story and each have their own individual path, and I think that's what made it so magical to work on this film, was that every single character, as Saoirse has said time and time again, has their own moment. That's something that now, as modern women, we forget, but during that era, it was unheard of to do what Jo did. To try and earn your own money and to not get married. And I think that's something that we haven't really appreciated in Amy before, quite like now.
What is it about Little Women that makes it the perfect film to actually go see in a movie theater instead of just sitting at home?
First of all, it's on film. It was shot on film, and there's something really special about watching it in a theater. And we can, this day and age, we just consume so much. But to take the time out of the day to go and see a film, it's not something we do enough of.
I mean, I love the communal shared experience of it. And listen, I mean, we did shoot it on film, we did shoot it on location. It's gorgeous, and to me, the actors, what they brought to it, how much they hold epicness in their bodies so we can experience transcendence through them, and to see it 30 feet high in the dark and to be swept away by it, I feel like they gave me what I went to the movie theater and felt when I was a kid. I say, go to the movie theater. I mean, it's nice at home, but it's better in a movie theater.
Little Women isn't the only big blockbuster that hit screens near you. Netflix had quite a few films, including The Irishman, Marriage Story, Six Underground, and The Two Popes, all of which, except for one, were nominated for Best Picture for the Golden Globes.
Very impressive for Netflix. First time having that many pictures submitted for Golden Globes. Up next, our good friend Greg visited the cast of Netflix's The Two Popes. The film is inspired by the true events surrounding the 2013 resignation of Pope Benedict XVI. Anthony Hopkins portrays a resounding Benedict and is partnered with Jonathan Pryce, playing the role of Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio, the man who would become today's Pope Francis. Although it's not a biopic or a documentary, the film uses real-life news footage from the conclaves and from historical events. Released on Netflix December 20th, check out The Two Popes.
It's one of those where almost like, by knowing it's true, that even makes it more special, because I don't think anybody could have written a script like this.
Yeah, well, everything we say is based on either something they've said in public or they've written. And so there's a lot of authenticity to what we say.
He brought that up. The fact that the Beatles' Abbey Road album was also really big in the script.
It's true that his music was, I don't think he ever actually went to Abbey Road, did he?
No, he didn't go there, but
No.
Abbey Road published he plays piano and there's an album, and so that's true. And because we had Abbey Road, well, we came up with the joke of the Beatles, and the Eleanor Rigby was you, wasn't it? I think it wasn't scripted.
No, I knew the title of that piece, yeah.
Yeah, I think you, and it's great. I mean, he mentioned, and this was Jonathan, Eleanor Rigby, who's a poor person. It's totally on Pope Francis' agenda. I think Pope Francis would have chosen Eleanor Rigby to mention. So it was very, I thought it was very clever. Actually.
Thank you very much. It's been a long time. You've been a long time congratulating me. It's been 2 years. 2 years. And now he's saying, well done.
He had so many things he was doing even before that.
Yeah, it was very interesting to research because I didn't know that, before the movie, and he had very lots of contradictions, in his life. So that was a very interesting and challenging for me as an actor.
Skincare is so important, especially at this time of year in Texas, which is why I love the products in the Hard Night Good Morning line. Moisturizers, creams, and toners contain bioactive ingredients with proven clinical results to repair, restore, and protect the skin. Brought to you by one of the Real Housewives of Dallas, D'Andra Simmons, be sure to shop her full line at hardnightgoodmorning.com.
Welcome back to The Real Dallas. It's a brand new year, which means new movies to look forward to. And we have several coming up that we think you're gonna love.
First up is a film that had limited release on Christmas Day, but will finally open up worldwide this month.
Roger Deakins and Sam Mendes have teamed up to create a beautiful World War I movie where time is the ultimate enemy. In 1917, two young Lance Corporals played by George MacKay and Dean Charles Chapman are tasked with an impossible mission to travel deep into enemy territory and deliver a message that will prevent the death of 1,600 British soldiers.
Already getting award season buzz and nominated for Best Picture at the Golden Globes, we sat down with the cast to get the scoop behind this cinematic and technical masterpiece.
You can't possibly make it that way, man! You bloody insane!
Now, this story was also a little more personal than some of the other war movies that you've done before, because this is your grandfather's story.
Yeah, so he fought in the war. He enlisted as a 17-year-old, and he didn't speak of his experiences in the war until he was in his 70s, so he never told his own children about it.
Wow.
But his grandchildren pestered him until he told us. And all of his stories were unconventional. None of them were stories of heroism or bravery. If they were heroism, it was accidental heroism. It was more about the chaos of war and how lucky he was to have survived and how thin the line was between life and death in that war. And he told us one story about carrying a message through no man's land. And that image of that one little man in that vast emptiness carrying a message stayed with me. And when I decided to sit down and write something for the first time, really, that was the story I wanted to tell. What if that man just kept going?
When he told me it was a war movie, First World War, I mean, he had no idea, but I've always been fascinated by that point in history. So I had like a kind of like wealth of knowledge that I was already like on the phone, like try to play it cool.
Yeah.
Don't start shouting about things. And then he told me about his family, his grandfather's connection, that one image of a man carrying a letter through no man's land. And so I knew it was going to be a very different type of war movie. And then he said, oh, by the way, it's all going to be one shot. And he hung up on me. And that was about, I was like, I had my dream job.
and then my dream job got really hard.
We filmed it in one continuous take, and I think that allows, you know, a whole nother layer of storytelling. You know, when you watch it, you know, it's literally 2 hours in a day, you know, continuous. And as you said, you can't escape. And you're not just watching this film, you're experiencing the film. You genuinely feel like you're there with the two men every step of the way. And yeah, it's pretty stressful to watch.
If you don't get there in time, we will lose 1,600 men. Your brother among them. Good luck.
We don't get much backstory in these guys, but somehow by the end of the movie, we're so invested.
Yeah.
How do you work around that?
So, I mean, that's one of the trickiest parts of writing a single-shot movie, or any movie that takes place in real time. Because how often do you wake up with like a best friend that you spent 6 months with and go, "Oh, how are you today, Blake? And how is your mother? And how?" Do you know what I mean? You just don't speak like that. And everything about this film had to feel like reality. So any exposition stuck out like sore thumbs because, well, we don't really tend to do exposition in real life. And so we just had to get clever. And so there is actually a lot of exposition in the film. It's just not traditional. It's not what you usually get when you sit in the cinema and say, "Oh, he's got a wife that died 5 years ago and that's why," do you know what I mean? There's none of that.
Yeah.
And we had to throw all of that out and a lot of other things.
That film looks amazing.
It is so good. If you haven't seen it, you have to. It's such a good movie.
Next up, we have a film with a very familiar face, but this time he's trading in his high-tech superhero suit to be a hero of another kind.
Ooh.
Robert Downey Jr. is Dr. Dolittle, but if you're expecting something like the 1998 Eddie Murphy film, you are in for a big surprise.
The famed doctor and veterinarian of Queen Victoria's England hides himself away with his animals until the Queen becomes ill, and he is forced to set sail on an epic adventure to a mythical island in search of a cure. Saying this is an all-star cast is a massive understatement. The voices of his animals include Emma Thompson, Rami Malek, Octavia Spencer,
John Cena,
John Cena, and Kumail Nanjiani. Dolittle opens in theaters January 17th. Now, this is a movie I have been waiting for.
Burnett and Lowry are back. Bad Boys 3, also known as Bad Boys for Life, hits theaters January 17th. Although this is the first Bad Boys film not directed by Michael Bay, the big guns, fast cars, and Miami sex appeal all return for this third installment. Starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, the cop duo unite once again to take down a mercenary seeking revenge. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
I'm so excited.
I'm thrilled.
I'm so excited about that movie. The big action just keeps rolling in this January with the release of The Gentleman. The cast itself is criminal, featuring Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Henry Golding, Hugh Grant, and many others.
Director Guy Ritchie is at his best when telling the tale of a British drug lord gearing up to leave the business. Ritchie returns to his signature style of storytelling. So if fast cuts, chase scenes, and larger-than-life characters are your thing, then check out The Gentleman, coming to theaters January 24th.
For a full list of all the movies hitting theaters and streaming near you this month, head to therealdallas.com. We'll be right back.
One in 3 adults has prediabetes. That means it could be you, your barber, your barber's barber.
Nice work. Thanks.
With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Welcome back to The Real Dallas. If you're just joining us, I'm DeAndre Upshaw, and this is Danielle Hawthorne. Being in business ain't easy in this next film.
Best friends Mia and Mel, played by Tiffany Haddish and Rose Byrne, are living their best lives, running their own cosmetic company that they've built from the ground up. Unfortunately, they realize that they are in debt for over $400,000.
As you do.
As you do. So they turn to beauty mogul Claire Luna, played by Salma Hayek, to help them out.
We sat down with the whole cast to find out just how ugly the beauty business is about to get.
I am going to invest $1.7 million on you.
We would love $1 million.
But in my experience, business and friendship don't always mix.
You don't have to worry your pretty little head.
My head is not little. It's just that my breasts are humongous.
There's so much confidence in these rooms right now, and I feel like I've gotten a style lesson from all of you. Tell me your secret. Like, what is the secret to just putting out your most confident self?
Man, Billy Porter, watching him, you get some good tips.
Yeah.
Billy's pretty fierce. He's fierce.
What is your definition of fierce?
Salma Hayek. I mean,
Salma, she
invented
is
the whole
fierce.
thing.
Yes, she is the epitome of fierceness. Like
beyond fierce.
Always looking stylish. Always, I mean, still comfortable in whatever it is that you're wearing. I think that's the main thing about confidence. When you feel good in what you have on, then it's just gonna ooze out.
I think the secret is being good at something. Being really good at something and actually, having passion about something.
Yeah, even when it's the thing that's not necessarily popular or not necessarily what people want. Understanding that that's your power. Whatever your authenticity is what your power is.
Clara Luna is introducing a new product at her launch party.
She just wants to steal our ideas.
We gonna break this bitch's back.
Oh, yours are made of stone.
If you were to go and create a business or a product with your real life ride or die, what would that be?
I would do holistic medicines. Dr. Haddish.
Dr. Haddish. She's a
Dr.
gifted
Haddish.
doctor, not certified, but an incredible
YouTube certified.
YouTube certified doctor.
I can give you the natural cure to anything.
A natural cure to anything.
We'll talk later. So, you're no stranger to launching businesses and having an incredible career. So for all the women out there who are doing their own thing, starting in their own business, pursuing their own dreams, what's the biggest piece of advice you could give to them?
You have to be careful because sometimes you are naive thinking that by being your own boss, you're gonna make a lot more money, But running a small business, a medium business, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to get off the ground. I really believe in do your due diligence, is that how you say it?
Due diligence, yeah.
In really studying the business plan. Don't be naive and romantic like, oh, I want a store, and I'm gonna... Maybe the best way is to go through the internet and start selling through the internet and start making a name for yourself there. Really do a lot of research, talk to the right people, surround yourself with people that have a lot of experience, which is hard to find. The right people to surround, but be fearless.
Yeah.
Like, be cautious, but don't let the fear stop you. Take chances with measure.
Ghost peppers, they are very spicy. Just a little sliver goes a long way.
Your peppers are really hot. It burns so bad, it hurts.
Take some bread, it'll soak it all up.
Oh, that's a lot of carbs. Here you go, honey. It's goat's milk, so to coat the throat.
It's going down for real.
Like a Boss is in theaters right now, so grab your girlfriends. It's time for a fun night out.
Don't go anywhere. We've got more of The Real Dallas when we come back.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Welcome back and thank you for joining us on The Real Dallas. Now that we've had a chat with Tiffany and Rose, we thought it was time to sit down with a few women right here in DFW who are building their businesses like a boss.
One of the first people who came to my mind is my dear friend Amanda Smith, who has spent the last 2 years building the Dallas Girl Gang, an incredible community for entrepreneurial-minded women.
It's easy to speak out about the way I live, but it's a 24-karat dream. No supermodel in my dirty jeans, but in my 24 inches heels.
I am here at the Common Desk in Addison with a woman who built an incredible business like a boss. And my dear friend, Amanda Smith.
Hi.
Hi, and thank you so much. I am so excited to talk to you today about the Dallas Girl Gang.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm so happy to be here.
So let's dive right in. What is the Dallas Girl Gang?
Dallas Girl Gang is a community for women in DFW to find like-minded people and make friends or grow their business.
And why did you start the Dallas Girl Gang?
When I moved back to Dallas, I found myself alone. I couldn't find friends, and I wanted to create something where everybody was welcome.
And you know, I think the Dallas Girl Gang is very unique in that you don't just have one kind of event. Talk to me about just the array of different opportunities that the Dallas Girl Gang provides.
So every month we want to provide events for people who are just wanting to get social, meet friends, explore the city, or build their business like a boss.
2020, it's the start of a new year.
Yes, it is.
What can we expect from the Dallas Girl Gang this year?
Okay, so the Fearless Conference is coming up 2020 in the fall. We're launching new episodes of the podcast, some new little series on the podcast, and we may, you never know, be launching into new cities.
Fingers crossed, because that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Now, if you are not, and you should be, connected with the Dallas Girl Gang, how do we fix that?
You can go right now to Facebook, search Dallas Girl Gang, join our Facebook group. There's tens of thousands of other women waiting to be your friend. You can go to dallasgirlgang.com. We have our events, ways you can work with us, sponsorship opportunities, vendor opportunities. You can learn more about how we started. You can learn more about literally everything. And that is our handle on all social media platforms.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really happy you joined us today.
This is the best. Thanks so much for having me.
I love that the Dallas Girl Gang hosts fun networking events at local businesses, because there is nothing worse than going to one of these events and you're trying to meet people, but you've got the same old name tag, grab a drink, stand around and do nothing type of event.
It's the worst, isn't it? It's just,
Luckily, there is a new place in town called the Network Bar that's working to solve that problem. Take a look.
I am David Romano, and you are inside the Network Bar in Dallas, Texas. The Network Bar is our version of LinkedIn Live, where people can come and they can connect and have a fun time in a really relaxing, flexible setting. You can come in, you can literally look inside your app and you can say, okay, well, I can see who that person is. So when you go to interact with that person, you know who you're talking to, you know what they do, and you know what that connection is going to yield for you in terms of your conversation. It's not specific to any industry. We've got bankers, we've got realtors, we've got people that are in retail, we've got attorneys, we've got everything you can think of. We do very specific events here to where we have an educational series where we bring in speakers that talk about all different types of topics, from health to venture financing to how not to die a stupid death. We also do a lot of fun things here where we have some of our vendor partners come in and do tastings of what are great whiskeys or what wine should you pair with different foods. When you look at the success of the Network Bar, there's lots of different stories. We've had a couple here that actually met and got married, which was a great thing. We have so many people that have come in and have connected and have raised tons of capital for their companies. There have been hundreds of millions of dollars of deals that have happened inside the Network Bar. You can find more information about the Network Bar at networkbar.com, or you can follow us on social at the Network Bar.
David and Lauren, thank you so much for opening your doors to us and giving us the full tour. If you are interested in learning more about the Network Bar, head to networkbar.com.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of The Real Dallas.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Welcome back to The Real Dallas. Next up, we'd like to dive into what we call DFW Zone. First, we talked to skincare mogul and Real Housewife of Dallas, D'Andra Simmons. Check it out.
Thank you so much, Danielle. I am here with D'Andra Simmons, Real Housewife of Dallas and skincare maven. Thank you so much for sitting down with us today.
Thank you. I can't believe we have almost the same name.
I know, it's the interview that we've all been waiting for. D'Andra and DeAndre sitting down to talk about your fantastic skincare line.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started with your skincare line?
Yes, so my mother's a cancer survivor, and she started Ultimate Living 25 years ago after having cancer, and that was a nutrition line. About 2 years later, people kept asking us, what do we use on our skin? And I was going to the lab because the skin's the largest body organ. I was having them make natural skincare products for us, especially for my mother, because already having had cancer, I wanted her to use good, healthy products on her skin. And so we just developed the D. Simmons skincare line, and then from that, I developed Hard Night Good Morning.
You've been in the skincare game for a very long time. So what are some of the struggles that you face coming up as a female entrepreneur?
I think any female in business, no matter where you are, it doesn't matter if you're in Dallas, Texas, in New York, or in Los Angeles, it's gonna be a struggle. You have to be determined, you have to have perseverance, you have to work very, very hard. It's tiresome, it's long hours. I haven't had a day off in 6 months. Getting funding is very difficult for women in business, period. 98% of women get turned down for VC funding, venture capital funding. And then of the women that get chosen, you basically get capital at a much lesser rate than men, and your interest rates and your debt ratio is much higher than you would if a man had gone for a loan. And most women, all their businesses are self-funded. I would say probably close to 80% are self-funded.
What would you say to women who are looking to start a business in Dallas? What would you say? What advice would you give to them?
Well, I would say, first of all, you can't be afraid of it because it's not going to be easy, but you have to just be willing to work very hard and get advice from other women entrepreneurs. So there's so many women in Dallas that have been successful and are happy to talk to you. And I would go and anyone you can find that has a business and say, hey, can I sit down and talk with you? Because most times they will talk to you.
D'Andra, thank you so much for having us here today. We appreciate your time and we appreciate you having us in your beautiful home.
Well, thank you, DeAndre. I hope we get to do it again.
Everybody, make sure you check out D'Andra's fantastic skincare line, Hard Night Good Morning. You can find that at hardnightgoodmorning.com. That is a wrap on this episode.
To get all of your movie news and insider info, be sure to head to therealdallas.com. And don't forget to follow us on social.
Hit that like button.
I'm your host, Danielle Hawthorne.
I'm DeAndre Upshaw. We'll see you next time on The Real Dallas.